So the second best decision in my life was becoming a data analyst. But the best decision in my life was quitting that same data analyst job. So 9 years ago, I accidentally stumbled upon data analytics without even having a related degree. And the craziest part is that I never wanted to become a data analyst. I actually hated working with numbers. You see, I studied industrial engineering and management at the University of Groningen. I'm Dutch, which was a technical study, and I hated it and I loved it at the same time. I loved it because it was way more challenging than just your regular business study. I had to learn calculus, I had to learn engineering, physics, electronics, which made it way more challenging and interesting. But I hated it because I didn't want to work with numbers in front of a screen for the rest of my life. I didn't want to be a nerd, even though I was. Still am.
What up, that nerd?
I wanted to be a manager and work with people because I thought that would give me energy. Boy, was I wrong. Because after I graduated, my first real job was working as a tech recruiter. So on the one side, I had to find tech professionals, and on the other side, I had to find businesses that were looking for tech professionals, and I basically had to connect them. But that meant 80% of the time, I was just cold calling people and listening to people and companies telling me to piss off. And even though I did learn a bit of sales, after 1 month, I just quit because tech recruitment was not for me. But right after that, I applied for an IT management traineeship, which I got hired for. And basically it meant I would follow some courses, get some coaching, get some certification, and I would be sent out to my first project. And for me, that was the role of a process consultant for a company that basically built the infrastructure for T-Mobile, Vodafone, the big telecom companies. So basically they built the optic fiber that gives you internet in your house, and they build the mobile antennas that give you internet to your smartphone. And I basically had to look at Excel spreadsheets most of the time, running daily and weekly reports. And I remember thinking to myself, yeah, there's no way I'm gonna do this for a long time. Either I become a project manager or something, or I quit my job and do something completely different. And I remember back then, I was so desperate, I didn't like my job at the time, that I was considering joining the army. But not the regular army, I was considering joining the commandos, like the most brutal special forces elite department of the army. Anything was better than staring at spreadsheets, I thought at the time. But being completely honest, as time went on, I kind of started liking working with numbers and spreadsheets. It kind of felt like you're solving puzzles all the time, connecting the right data with each other, finding the right formulas. But I'll be honest, I was really lucky. Because before this job, I had zero experience working with Excel. And a big factor that helped me get good with numbers and Excel and spreadsheets was the fact that I could pick the brain of someone who was an awesome and helpful colleague, to the point where I asked questions every 5 minutes, every single day.
What is this?
That's cheese.
What is this?
That's cheese.
And this, what is this?
Cheese also.
But he was really patient and helped me out a lot. Because of him, I actually got good with Excel. And because of him, I actually started liking working with Excel, because once you're good at it, it becomes a bit more fun. But still, I thought, not gonna do this for the rest of my life. I want to become a manager because they all seem so busy and important. I wanted that too. But as I was getting better with Excel on the one hand, on the other hand, I also started working more and more with people and stakeholders and managers. And as I got to spend more time talking with them, I also learned that probably 9 out of 10 of those people couldn't care less about their job. They constantly complained about their work, about the workload, about each other, about the manager. And it even got to the point where we all had to come together and attend this workshop given by some kind of business psychologist, where he talked about personality colors and how you could be blue and he could be red, and this meant you had to approach each other in this kind of way. But honestly, nobody gave a fuck. They just wanted to do the minimum amount of work to not get fired so they could get paid and pay their monthly bills. And I thought to myself, man, just bad luck being in such a toxic department. This is probably the only department that's like this. Boy, was I wrong again. Because here's what happened next. For the next 2 years, I continued working at the same company, but I switched departments. And at this department, we were a bit more advanced when it comes to data analytics. I still got to use Excel, but we also started working with Power BI, which was a cool business intelligence tool to make reports and dashboards. I took a couple of courses on edX to get good with Power BI, and I even asked my manager if it was possible to go into advanced analytics and start getting good at Python. And my manager at the time, who was one of the best managers I've ever had, gave us the opportunity to follow a Python course and get good at Python so we could use it in our day-to-day job. So somewhere in that year, I guess you could say I became a data analyst. Even though I started as a process consultant, I started working more and more with data, analyzing data, working with numbers, building graphs and dashboards. So eventually I did all the tasks that a data analyst does, so I became a data analyst. And most data analysts I know become data analysts in exactly the same way. They transition slowly into the role. But as my data analyst skills grew and the strength of my resume and LinkedIn profile grew as well, so did it attract a lot of recruiters. And one of them was a recruiter that worked for Heineken, and he invited me for an interview. Now, even though I wasn't searching for jobs at the time, I was open to just having an interview because it sounded like a cool project, it's a cool company, and it was literally around the block from where I was living in Amsterdam back then. So I went to the interview, got an offer, which was pretty decent, negotiated an even better offer, and basically for 5K a month, I could work as a data analyst for Heineken with senior managers, which was literally around the block. So it was a no-brainer. But honestly speaking, it was a very tough decision to make. I was more scared for telling my manager at the time that I was going to quit my job than that I was going into that interview, because I had a good relationship with my manager and he gave me so many opportunities to grow in the company, it kind of felt like betraying him. But I explained everything, he understood, I quit my job and I started working for Heineken. Now don't get me wrong, Heineken is a great employer. They're hip, modern, open-minded, they have a really good pay, they offer opportunities for growth and personal development, but it was still a corporate office environment, which meant a lot of hierarchy, corporate office bullshit, and a lot of meetings. And I get that there's a lot of people that don't mind these kind of environments, but I did. Up until this point, I still thought I wanted to become a manager, but working for Heineken, I learned that I don't at all. Because my job was to build dashboards and provide the senior management team with actionable insights. So this meant I had to attend a lot of meetings where senior management got together. And after attending an infinite amount of meetings, I figured out that there's always 3 categories of meetings. The first one, the one where 5 to 15 people join the meeting, everybody talks through each other, everybody interrupts each other, and usually the meeting ends with 1 or 2 people completely hijacking the entire meeting with some kind of off-topic discussion, and the meeting ending with no conclusion, no next steps, and people having to leave the meeting because they have to go to the next meeting. The second one is where everybody goes into the meeting without a clear objective, and we waste 1 hour of each other's time, and by the end of the meeting, the conclusion is that we need another follow-up meeting. And the third one, the meeting that could have been an email. Oh, and there was a fourth one actually. Occasionally there were meetings, usually one-on-ones, or a maximum of 3 people, where we got together and they're actually productive. Actually, something productive came out of the meeting. And even though those meetings definitely contributed to the fact that I did not want to become a manager ever again, it was the following 2 things that actually made me pull the trigger to quit my job as a data analyst. First of all, the fake, inauthentic behavior in corporate office environments. I saw it happen in meetings, I read it in emails, I heard it in hallways. The always present passive-aggressive undertone everybody had against each other, especially in management. Managers were always trying to assert their dominance over others by sounding very politically correct, but actually being very insulting in a very calculated manner, usually disguised as a joke.
If you compare the figure at the top of page 13...
Jared, it's a little early for all that. Just speak to me in plain English.
And the most fucked up thing was that everybody knew exactly what was happening, what the actual message was, but everybody just pretended like nothing happened. And you see the same thing happening in politics, this inauthentic behavior. And I hate it. I value integrity as one of the most important principles in my life, where what I think, what I say, and what I do are all aligned. But in this environment, you were forced to be inauthentic and fake. Saying what you actually think and what you actually want to say could cost you your job. And this inauthentic behavior was also present in the fact that everybody pretended to be these perfect human beings that never did anything wrong. For example, if someone in a meeting would ask, "Hey, how was your weekend?" they would probably answer with some innocent answer like, "Oh, nothing special, I just attended a friend's birthday party." But what they actually did was... You're not allowed to say that. You didn't do anything illegal or wrong. You can't say that during a meeting at work. You have to be professional. I hated the fact that you cannot be truthful to your colleagues and you had to watch what you're saying every single time you speak. But the most important thing that made me realize I'd never want to climb this corporate ladder ever again in my life, and it made me quit my job, was the fact that these managers worked their ass off. They worked so much. They never worked an 8 or 9 hour day. Yeah, they would come to work, sitting meetings usually for 8 hours, if not more. But then the actual work would happen from their home. They would reply to their emails in the evenings. They would prepare presentations in the evenings. They would go through dashboards and reports in the evenings, usually even on Saturdays and Sundays. How do I know this? I always got replies from those managers in the evening or on the weekends. Now, don't get me wrong, I respect the work ethic, and I know that there's plenty of people that do want to put in so much time and energy into climbing that corporate ladder. Idiot. But this just doesn't fit my lifestyle. I want to have freedom in my lifestyle. So I want to work when I want, whenever I want, on what I want, with whomever I want, from wherever I want. In the evenings, I want to spend time with loved ones, doing sports, pursuing hobbies. I want to travel. I want to explore. I want to go on adventures. I want to bake fucking cookies if I want to. Cookies. I don't want to be completely dependent on a company that is willing to replace you as soon as the economy turns sour, or as soon as your manager decides he doesn't like your face anymore, or just because you haven't worked enough overtime compared to all the colleagues around you. And for what? Because some CEO or senior manager put up some metrics and targets he needs to hit this year so you can get a bonus? Piss off. I want to work on my own thing. I want to build and create my own thing with people who I love, who I like working with. And again, I'm not trying to bash Heineken specifically here, because I know this just happens at big corporations a lot. And I have to say this because otherwise Heineken might sue me for defamation or something. Please don't. I love Heineken. I enjoyed my time at Heineken. I love drinking Heineken. It's the best beer in the world. No, but for real, I'm really thankful for the opportunity that Heineken gave me to grow my hard skills, my data analyst skills, and also my soft skills. And that I found out that I don't want to work as a manager anymore, or that I don't want to work as a data analyst for the rest of my life. And this propelled me into my freelancing career. I quit my job to become a freelance data analyst, working for a big financial institution in Amsterdam. Yes, I was still working as a data analyst. And yes, I was still working in a big corporate environment, but I was working as a freelancer. This meant I had way more income. I literally tripled my income from 5K a month to 15K a month. I was basically a business. Being a freelancer is business on easy mode. And since I was a freelancer, you get detached from all those corporate office bullshit, the politics, no HR bullshit.
It's not that I'm lazy. It's that I just don't care.
I was just hired to do my job as an expert, and that's exactly what I did. But best of all, as a freelancer, I was able to be flexible with my time and projects, which gave me the resources to dabble around with some side hustles and side projects. I tried cryptocurrency trading, not successful. I started my first online course, had a little bit of success, made my first online dollar, did some online coaching here and there, but most importantly, I bought my first camera. I started a YouTube channel. I got better at video editing, at making YouTube videos. I grew my channel, and eventually being a freelance data analyst, even though I knew I didn't want to do data analysis. I didn't want to do data analysis for the rest of my life. Being a freelance data analyst gave me the resources to quit my job, take my camera with me while traveling the world so I could go all in on YouTube. And it worked out perfectly fine, because my YouTube channel and my whole creative business around it is now making me a living. I can work where I want, whenever I want. I have my own studio right now. And it was all due to recognizing that being a data analyst would probably completely destroy my soul for the rest of my life. But on the other hand, it saved my life because it gave me the resources and the opportunities to quit my job and pursue something completely different. Now, if you're in a similar position, you're currently working a job you don't really like, but you have the feeling like there's more to life than working this unfulfilling job for the rest of your life. You want to create a dream life for yourself, but you just don't know where to start. You don't know what steps to take. Or maybe you do know what steps to take, but you just lack the execution and the motivation to take those steps. Then today, I have the perfect solution for you. Today, I'm announcing the launch of my new 100% free community called 9 to 5 to Dream Life Accelerator. I know it's a bit cheesy, but it's exactly how I would summarize the community. It's for people stuck in a 9-to-5 job that they don't like, that have the feeling that there's more to life and they want to go live and create the dream life. And I want to help you with that. I want to accelerate that. So the community is filled with like-minded people. Everybody is supporting each other, sharing lessons on the same journey as you are. There will be expert guides, whether it's freelancers, solopreneurs, people having successful businesses that have done all those steps before you, and sharing that in weekly calls, monthly calls. I will drop in every once in a while to give some calls and answer your questions. And there will be other valuable resources like courses and lists and free templates and whatever. And it's completely free. Click on the link in the description to join and watch this video next if you want to learn how I quit my job, how I made a plan to travel the world. See you in the next video. That is the next video. I just told you that's the next video you should watch. Fuck my talk. Cheers.